There are patterns in life. There are patterns in life you don't really see until you get older. At first you think, this is just the way things are meant to be. And then as things go on, you start to see that the same patterns just keep reoccurring. I didn't really notice it until I was probably in my early 30s. I'd moved to Albuquerque, decided to apply for grad school. I applied for grad school, but first I take some courses, because you're not quite sure if you want to go to grad school, so you take a couple courses, see how hard it's really going to be, especially if I've been in college for 10 or so years. So I take a couple classes. Ace the classes, these are a breeze, no problem. So I applied for grad school. Now I've already taken some classes, straight A's, I'm going to get into grad school. Not a problem. I take my GMAT, not so good on the math, don't do a lot of math in my line of work. Really good in English. Awesome. Turns out they don't really average out on the GMAT. So when you apply for grad school, I get rejected because that's the pattern of my life. But, as usual, there's a caveat. You can go to grad school if you take remedial math, which was like calculus 1 or 2 or something. And then, if you take 2 more courses and get straight A's. So I was like, okay, I can do this. It's just going to take me longer to actually be a student. So I got through grad school, no problem, finally got in, passed my math class, not a big deal. But there was a challenge to it. It wasn't like, oh, I applied, I got in. I have other friends, they apply, they just get in. Not me, it always has to have that extra little step. Albuquerque, a few years later, I get unemployed. I think I'm going to get another job. 6 months goes by, still don't have a job. I finally grasp the one job I get. It's in civil engineering, doing business development, which is really just sales. And it's in the state of New Mexico. And kind of like Vermont, but in a way bigger scale, you have to drive 3.5 hours to get anywhere. So if I want to go from Albuquerque to Las Cruces to have a business meeting, 3.5 hours. If I want to go to Farmington to meet with a client, 3.5 hours. Anywhere you go is 3.5 hours. I get tired of driving. Suddenly management changes again. I'm eliminated. So now I have no job, once again, after 7 months. Industry is falling apart. I'm not going to get a job in there. I keep thinking I should move back to upstate New York. And I've been thinking this for almost 2 years since I was unemployed the first time. But no, it took 2 unemployments, a year total of unemployment, to finally decide, hey, maybe I should move. Because nothing is simple for me. There's always that little caveat, that little bump in the road where I have to then follow that bump just to get to that point. Which leads me to my most current dilemma. I thought, I don't ever want to buy a house. I'm not that kind of person. I'm good with renting. So one day I drive by this house. It says it's only $50,000. $59,000. Huh. So I call my brother and I said, should I just look at it? You should look at it. So I go and look at it. It's a perfect house. I walked in and I'm like, oh, God, this is it. It's $59,000. I have friends with cars that don't even come close to that. My brother just bought a car for the same value. So how hard can it be to get a loan? It's only $59,000. We even get them down to $53,500. $53,000 a year. I mean, for a house. I've made way more than that in Albuquerque. Why? This should be a breeze to get a loan. So I apply for a loan. Reject. I apply for another loan, because now I'm panicking, because the other place said, well, maybe we'll reconsider. So I go to another bank, and I apply for another loan. And they say, sure, but it's going to cost you this much money. And I say, oh, I can't deal with this. So this bank comes back and says, but wait, we'll change it to this. But we can't guarantee we're actually going to give you the loan. So my contract expires tomorrow. I have canceled the loan that was going to cost me more money. I am going with a loan that is a possibility for less money. And I am putting my faith in the universe that this is going to work out. But what happens on the day that I sign these contracts is I open up MSNBC, because I always look at my horoscope just to kind of see how the day might go and might not go. So I log into my horoscope, and the day I sign the paperwork for the loan, the first loan, it says, you might be considering a big purchase today. This might not be the time to spend a lot of money. So I text it to my friend, and she's like, ah! That's funny. So as things go on in life, between horoscopes, and trust me, the horoscopes are great every day when they tell me things like, today it's not going to be a good day. I'm waiting for that day that I open up my horoscope in the morning when I first wake up in the morning, and I can say it's going to be like, you are going to get what you want today, and that will be the day I get the loan. But it may not be. I just ride this one out. I also get this little thing on my Twitter account from Daily Zen. And the best part is they had an article on it yesterday that said, you should have no attachment whatsoever to any kind of conclusions. So you try not to have an attachment to the results of anything. It's not so easy when it's a house. Now, I can see, like, if I don't know, win the lottery or something, I can have no attachment at all to that. But if you say, hey, I don't really care if I get the house or not, it's no big deal. It kind of is a big deal. But these are patterns that I have in my life where things start to go a little, everything I ever commit to do is going to have some bumps. If I get a job, there'll always be that part-time period or the evaluation period for 90 days just to see if I can stick there. It's never just that, here you go, run with it, everything's going to be okay. So just keep that in mind as you get older, some of you. You might notice strange patterns in your life, and I have no idea how to break them. But those are just the patterns of life. Madam Toastmaster.